Question 516. What is the most important thing you've unplugged to charge your phone?
I don't know, someone's life support, I don't know.
You've unplugged someone's life support?
I was in a hospital with my grandmother a few years ago, and we were just sitting in the waiting room, and I was looking around and I saw an empty socket with a label on it that said "Do not unplug."
Yeah.
I don't know what was plugged in there, but it wasn't anymore.
See, I unplugged my mother's bed, which was a special anti-bed sore bed thing in the hospice. But that's not what I was thinking. I didn't think that was important. I've done a TiVo. That's probably the most important.
Seven.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Nikki says refrigerator. Is Nikki British?
I've
Where's
almost got wazzed on my keyboard.
You almost wazzed on your keyboard.
Yes. That's why it needed cleaning.
Exactly. Math Pig.
I always make a point of not doing that.
No. That's sensible.
Just extend and put in little plugs.
Yeah, there is a reason I tend to look for like empty plug sockets or whatever first, so you know.
They're usually not convenient. That's why you unplug things.
Most plugs now you can get with a USB port on them as well as the plug socket.
Yeah, they're a very bad idea.
Why?
You want me because it has half a transformer inside it, and the transformer doesn't last anywhere near as long as a socket. They will always break and become useless.
They are going to break before a plug socket, no doubt about that. But surely it should be easy enough just to replace that part of it, though. So.
No, you can't. It's a sealed unit.
They're not that hard to replace.
That's very poorly
so
designed.
what's your problem?
Yes.
160 of them for free on a competition. So.
Say again?
I says, my man 160 of them on a Facebook competition.
Oh, yeah, then I'd use them.
I have a hacksaw, nothing is sealed.
I got a Dremel.
Oh, I got a Dremel.
How have they gone so backward then from like not being able to do this like phone sockets with a USB port? How have they got so fucking backward?
Because, well, the problem you've got is, right, we shouldn't be doing something we are doing in our houses right now is really bad.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is having a separate transformer for fucking everything.
Mm.
Yeah, we should have 5 and 12 volt supplies in our house. And then you have you can have one decent, expensive transformer that can
and then
be loaded
that fails
up.
and you can't charge anything.
Yes, but it fails a lot less often because it's decent. Right.
Why don't you have
But when
two
it does fail, you're fucked.
expensive transformers?
Yes, 2 of them. Have 2.
Or why don't you have 3?
Or why don't you have 1,
Given
and
that
when
we
it fails...
transform nearly everything down in our house, and we now have light bulbs that can run and be just as bright on 12 volts and 24 volts. Why aren't our houses wired just with 12 and 24 volts, which would be a lot fucking safer?
Yes, this is my point. I mean, every light bulb you have that you plug into the fucking mains now has got a fucking tiny little transformer, and that's what goes.
I found a key, and I'm going to insert it. It's the
Into?
insert key. It's the insert key.
In fact, there would be no problem with them actually having 2 transformers in your meter box for each line you need, and you can just switch between them if one fails, and then you can put an electrician to come and fix it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it would also, using a bigger transformer, it would also make the power cleaner over it. It'd be much less likely to be disrupted. It'd be much less likely to fail because of the grid.
You'd have DC current to most sockets in the house then. Most things could be powered from it.
I've got a duster. I can clean the power off myself.
The only 240 or 120 volts lines you would need will be like to ovens or refrigerators or something like that. You'd have specific power points for those.
Even
No, your fridge would need it. Those compressors that fucking require it.
I think you could run those less. Your cooker, your oven would need it, and probably your shower. And probably a kettle.
You'd need it too. The compressors are power hogs.
They are. I'm not saying I would have to. I've seen alternatives that will run happily at 12 volt.
You can get 20. Well, no, if you're running 24 volt as well, you can get 24 volt.
But I don't know if they're as efficient. Is the issue there?
Yeah, that'll be part of your problem.
Right. In the chat, do you know what just occurred to me? Intellectual Iconoclasm says, as a comm soldier, I break fingers for unplugging shit. I would rather my phone dies than inconvenience someone with unplugging anything. Nikki says she's American.
I don't invite people who I think will be unpluggers.
Seraphim says, the only light in the room. Wait, no, the freezer. Jones says, has nobody ever heard of power strips? Anything important that is intellectual icon says, an alarm clock because with my phone it's redundant. Robert says, that is not Math Pig, that person sounds sane.
You seen yourself, Dave, when I sent you a screenshot the other day? How do you survive with your phone at 5%? I always run the damn thing.
I just sit there and look at that screenshot and my brain is going, no!
What screenshot's this?
That's just a screenshot from his phone and it's just 5% battery left.
You have an issue there, Dave.
5% battery? I'm running around and I've got to plug this in now!
You got to plug in the screenshot.
No, the phone. Oh, God.
Makes your battery last longer if you run it right down, charge it right
No,
up.
it doesn't. Not modern lithium ones. I mean, you don't want to keep them. You don't want to keep them topped up. That's bad for them.
Yeah, you don't feel the heat in the back of the phone. If I charge my phone over 60%, because it's a dash charger and it's already starting at 60%.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And the heat is what does the damage.
Fucking heats up like mad.
Yeah. And keeping it charged at 100%, that's bad for it. That the worst thing you can do is to keep charging it that last 5%. Right?
Dave, I've got another discussion topic for us.
Go on.
What the fuck are you supposed to do with batteries? Everywhere I look, they tell you a completely different thing you're supposed to do to make your batteries last longer.
That's because you don't know what you do is you buy a decent battery and it comes with a little graph that tells you exactly what to do. Right? And it really pisses me off, right, that phone manufacturers have not put stuff in to deal with treating the batteries correctly. Just so they can put this phone lasts X amount of time on a charge.
The worst part about it is a phone has a microprocessor in it. There's no
totally capable of doing it.
The phone can do it itself and make sure that you don't fuck it up.
But they can't then put in the manual that when it's brand new, it has this many minutes of life left.
Yeah.
And the point is, our batteries in our phones, we probably shouldn't charge them within about 10% of full. If you take a lithium-ion battery and don't charge it within 10% of full, you will massively increase the lifetime of the battery.
Yeah, I always let it run down to under 10%.
I know. No, the down at the bottom can be just as bad for lithium. If you completely discharge lithium, it is very bad for
it. This is why we need to move to capacitors.
What we need to do is just for batteries to just do shit themselves, have a little chip in the phone or whatever the fuck you're charging that figures out what's good for it, and then just fucking do that. That's fine. That's
great.
Your
battery optimization button.
Yeah.
Have you read the paper on those nano diamond strings?
I have read no papers on nothing.
Dave.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't mean to be a downer.
Or Amanda.
Fucking nobody came to Question Show to talk about papers on nano diamond.
We'll discuss batteries later.
Amanda, my saviour.
Oh, come on, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
No, it's
technology.
not. Nobody gives a yeah. I'm sure it's brilliant technology, but nobody gives a fuck right now. Okay, I unplugged a coffee maker. That's my answer.
That's your answer.
That's me for the past like.
That's horrific. A coffee maker is the most essential thing in a house.
We don't even own a coffee maker.
You savages!
I only drink instant coffee.
I'll drink instant.
I quite like instant, but I've got a coffee maker. Over there. He had no. Mine. When I was a kid, I pulled the plug in and out without the cover, giving myself a shock. That's why British plugs are so good. My electric oven's light and fan. That's a separate plug. Intellectual Iconoclasm says, critical cripple, I just swooned for you. Fair enough. Right X says, I unplugged a vacuum cleaner. You might say that was not important, but my mother-in-law did not agree. I had to hear about it for a year. Music Collector says, Dave, I just realised something. You look like the guy from Not 9 News comedy.
What?
Well, I have no idea.
Mel Smith. Mel Smith.
Do I not? Do you want not the 9 o'clock news?
That's the only one I can.
Yeah, Will Smith is...
Mel Smith.
Mel Smith, sorry, not Will Smith. Yeah, Mel.
I was just saying, well, he doesn't look like Pamela Stevens. There's no two ways about that. And he doesn't look like Rowan Atkinson and or Griff Rhys-Jones, so I'm assuming he means Mel Smith. I don't know.
If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.